Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Welcome to Farm Kenya show right here on KTN, and this is the show where we are delving deeper into the heart of agriculture. And today I'm joined by my ever-inspiring co-host, Marion Munyao. Yes, and we are kicking this off with a topic on youth in agribusiness. And when we talk about youth in agribusiness, we are looking at the young people who are trying to get into farming and also who are still in the farming kind of business.
Thank you so much, Kelvin. It's such a pleasure to co-host alongside you. Yes, we are talking about opportunities in youth in agribusiness. You as a youth out there, what are you doing? Unafahamu nini? Unafuga nini kwa shamba? Na si lazima ukue kwenye shamba. What value addition enterprise are you running in your market or in your farm? We'll be glad to hear from you. And of course, you can reach out to us at our SMS line, which is absolutely free, 22151, or also on our handles at KTN Home _ at Marion _ the agri producer na kawaida
at Kelvin Ogega. Reach us out on this platform so that we can get to conversate and also get to share different ideas when it comes to farming. And also, kama wewe ni kijana, uko nje and you want to just ask about everything that's with regards to agriculture. How do you get to the market? Finances, because when it comes to financing in farming, it's also one of the challenges that also, Marion, I believe you've been speaking to very many young people who explain to you and tell you, okay, mbona ni get into farming by the way, because sina do, you know, farming ni awasenyo washamaliza job, they are already, you know, maybe retired, they have some money stashed up somewhere.
Yes, Kelvin, indeed, a lot of youth on the ground. Kwa ground vitu ni different. Lakini tunafurahia hapa kama sisi timu kubwa ya Farm Kenya show, manake vijana uko shambani wanajikaza, wanajikakamua, wanatia hiyo bidii. Manake agriculture solutions wanazo. They have grabbed a lot of opportunities when it comes to youth in agriculture. They have gone on crazy value chains. We are talking about cricket farming. We are talking about azolla farming. But today, Kelvin, do you like to spill the beans?
Should we say it right now? Do you think we need to say it right now?
Mdogo.
Sindio?
And I have my gift for you.
Sijui kama nitakula sahi, lakini let me just hold on to it. This is an orange.
Thank you so much, Nyakundi. Yes. And remember, they're back at home. You can definitely join in the conversation using our social media handles at KTN Home _ at Marion _ the agri producer na kama kawaida
at Kelvin Ogega. Let's meet on Twitter. Let's speak. Oh, it's X these days. Let's meet there. Let's just share a different perspective when it comes to agriculture. You as a youth, wanataka kufanyiwa nini? What would you want us to have on the show? Reach to us just over there. Let's have this conversation. Marion.
Yes.
Yes. What do we have today on the show? Some highlights?
Today we have a very interesting conversation, a big show. We do it great here at Farm Kenya, where we have, of course, the amazing Kate Wambugu. Kate Wambugu is the Apple ambassador, the CEO of Wambugu Farms, whereby it is known for the delicious apples. Na hapa naona niko na apple. Atatueleza ini variety gani pia kwenye show anapokuja. And on Youth in Agriculture segment, we will be talking about two gentlemen who are doing big when it comes to agri-technology, whereby they've come up with a device for soil test. Mkulima umeteseka nyumbani ati kidogo mimea inachomeka. Hapana, shida inaweza kuwa hiyo mchanga. That soil could be the problem and the cause of the losses you may be incurring in your farm, Kelvin.
All right, and with all that and some of the highlights, we're going to move to our segment where we're going to be looking at some of the stories making headlines in the world of agriculture. And now let's start off with our agri-news, where Mount Kenya region farmers from this region and Murang'a County have received training on the proper use of technology and modern farming technologies to enhance production on their farms. The organizers of the training said this was necessitated by the changing trends in farming and the need to teach farmers how to combat the effects of climate change, which has greatly impacted agricultural production. The training brought together stakeholders from different sectors, including financial institutions, which also trained farmers on the need to embrace the savings culture.
We are here to train farmers, to give them knowledge about farming methods that would be beneficial to them.
And we are here in Murang'a today to participate and to also train our farmers on the superior bull semen that we have availed, so that it can be able to contribute to increased productivity in terms of milk, so that we can be able to achieve our food security and nutrition agenda.
Tuko na bidhaa ambazo zinasaidia wakulima kwa ufugaji, katika ufugaji, yani ukulima wa maziwa, ukulima wa nyama na pia aina yote ya mifugo. Na pia tuko na mambo na kuku, kama ufugaji wa kuku, mayai, kuku wa nyama, namna hiyo.
So leo tumejumuika hapa na wakulima, tumekuja mashinani kuonesha gari ambayo inaitwa Mahindra Scorpio. Hii ni gari ambayo inafanywa local assembly hapa Kenya. So ni gari imetengenezwa hapa nchini Kenya. Kwa hivyo imetengenezwa ili iweze kusaidia mkulima na mwanabiashara yote kulingana na mahitaji yake.
Yes, we are encouraging them to become savers. So we are promoting savings products for the farmers. And again, we are also extending loans to these farmers to be able to expand their businesses. And
now the Kenyan tree cover stands at 12.3%, with forest cover at 8.8%, as efforts by the government and stakeholders to increase it continue. Taita Taveta County on the Kenyan coast has 33 ranches covering approximately 1.2 million acres of land. The Wildlife Works company is implementing the Kasigahu Corridor Red Plus project at Maungu. Now, it operates within 200,000 hectares in 16 ranches between Tsavo East and Tsavo West National Park. Hezron Kimari with the following story featuring Kasigahu Red Plus project in Maungu, Taita Taveta County.
Currently, Taita Taveta County's tree cover stands at 6.8% and attributed to 3.4% forest. Being a semi-arid county, the effects of climate change have resulted into increased cases of human-wildlife conflict. This has forced communities living next to Tsavo National Park and conservancies to unsustainably turn to park for survival. Poaching, charcoal burning, informal settlement, together with logging of indigenous trees are some of the illegal activities that have been reported over the years. These spiking cases have strained ties between the state and conservancies on one side and local people on the other side. The Kasigahu Red Plus project has been seeking to change the narrative through its Wildlife Works speech. The project has been on for the last 10 years, and Makunon, Marungu, Kasigahu, Sagala and Machabo are some of the areas reaping big.
We have about 16 ranches in the project area, and we are protecting about 200,000 hectares of land. The project is in the corridor between Tsavo East and Tsavo West National Park. Within the project area, we work with 6 locations, and this is Makinon location, Marungu location, Kasigahu location, Sagala, Motate and Mochabo, whereby we have about 120,000 people approximately. The project has had a very big impact, whereby we have employed more than 400 people, and these employees, all of them are coming from the project area. Some of them were charcoal burners before, some of them were poachers, but they have been employed so that they can stop those illegal activities.
With the alternative income generating projects, locals are no longer relying on activities that compromise the environment. Now, most are involved in sustainable business, which has reduced the strain on the parks.
Kitambo tulikuwa tunakata miti ovyo ovyo, tukikata makaa, tukiwinda, windaji haramu kwa sababu ya vile maisha na changamoto vile zilikuwa kabla ya hiki kiwanda kufika. Lakini tunashukuru wakati kiwanda kilifika tulielimishwa kwamba kukataji wa miti ovyo ovyo kiolela sio vizuri.
Wakati kabla mvua haijanyesha tunawapatia mifuko ambayo hiyo watakuwa wanaitumia ili kupandikiza hizo miche. Ikifika wakati wa kiangazi kama sasa, tunaenda kuichukua hiyo miti, tunakuja kuweka hapa greenhouse, tunaendelea kuikuza mpaka ifikia wakati wa mvua ambao mara nyingi tunalenga zile mvua kubwa ambayo ni mvua ya kuanzia mwezi wa 10 huko. Tunarudisha hiyo miti kwa wakulima wapande zile sehemu zao ambazo miti ilikatwa. Wengine wanapanda kwa mashamba yao, mingine tunapanda shuleni, mingine tunapanda kwa makanisa.
Youths have also been trained on production of sustainable charcoal briquettes. These ones are made from a mixture of cassava flour and pruned branches from indigenous trees.
Utengenezaji wetu wa makaa katika njia hii iko bora zaidi kuliko ile mbinu yenye ilikuwa inatumika huko nyuma. Juu sisi hatukati miti, sisi tuna prune ama tunatumia shrubs ambazo ni miti midogo midogo ambayo tena hatuikati yote. So katika utengenezaji wetu huwa tunalinda mazingira.
Let's shift gears now and talk about aquaculture, where farmers continue to suffer despite availability of fish processing plants in Mount Kenya region. Many of the fish processors have remained closed for several years in the counties of Nyeri and Meru. Local fish farmers now want the government to revive the factories to ensure ready market. Clement Masombo has the details.
Residents of Mount Kenya have in the recent past embraced fish farming. Despite this, the crucial sector has continued to experience challenges such as access to ready market. This has forced most of them to hawk their fish in the villages.
After 2017, after the ABDP came 2018 and 2019 as they were being recruited to fish farming, seeing Kanyakine Fish Factory opening up and some operations up and down, farmers from the large community saw heaven, but I don't know if they reached that heaven.
The main challenge we have currently with our farmers is market and high cost of fish fins. Market, we don't have an organized market.
Fish processing plants which were put up to cushion farmers from the challenge have remained closed for years. The Omagana Fish Factory in Nyeri County is one of the plants initiated by the late President Mwai Kibaki under the Economic Stimulus Program.
Our fish was not achieving what is required as a market weight, which is about 300 grams. So we were harvesting fish at around 150 to 180 grams. And this was very good for the Kadogo economy around Kibera.
In Meru County, just like it is in Nyeri, fish farmers were left stranded and their hopes shattered after the Kanyakine Fish Factory was closed down by the county government of Meru in 2020. The factory had a capacity to process 12 tons of fish every week.
What I can say is urge the agencies would put their heart inside seeing this factory operating. Having sat here for 14 years now, and it has not assisted a farmer in Meru. It's not a white elephant, but I think it's the elephant in the room.
But we are trying to address them. For example, this fish factory, we under communication, we under deliberation with the MCDIC, and we are planning for a mega meeting or bigger meeting with all the stakeholders to see how we can make this operational so that at least it can handle that issue on marketing.
Officials from the government, however, insist that there is hope for revival of the closed fish factories.
And we are working very closely, and that's when you had this contract that lease agreement that we issued. Actually, I think the focus of the last lessee to this factory was only the feed factory. The feeds processing unit, because she wanted to work with ABDP so that she can supply the feeds to the farmers.
As I said, if we are looking at the fish market, we already are in the procurement stage. As we sit here today, I've just released a letter to the CEC in charge of trade, to just give the no objection for that activity to start in Chaka. So that is already happening.
Environmentalists have embarked on partnering with schools to introduce smart farms in a bid to conserve environment and train young learners on nurturing and protecting trees in schools. Speaking during a tree planting exercise in Kangaita, Kirinyaga County, Rainforest Alliance Director Dida Wario said that the smart farms would not only provide an opportunity for pupils and students to learn more on environment, but also encourage tree planting.
Hayuko kotini.
In total, since the beginning of the program, in these two counties, we have reached, as Rainforest House, we have reached 89. In this season, we are now doing 10 hectares. We are doing 10 hectares, and then we are also focusing on the total for the year, at least 20 hectares. Should be rehabilitated by the end of this year.
Kirinyaga is among the counties that have got the highest forest cover and tree cover in the country. So as we mark this day, the country has targeted to plant 15.7 billion. As Kirinyaga County, we are supposed to be planting 70 million in 10 years. 70 million trees in 10 years. Every year, 7 million.
I want to thank and appreciate all the agencies, all the partners who have helped us today. The Rainforest Alliance, the Kenya Tea Board, Nyayo Tea Zone, and all the county government of Kirinyaga. We are all one. We have joined hands to make sure that we make our environment more greener and greener.
Meanwhile, the Horn of Africa Groundwater for Resilience program that is being implemented in 5 arid and semi-arid lands, ASAL counties, is set to get approximately 1.5 million people in the beneficiary counties, with several integrated projects comprising of water resource management, water services and sanitation services. The group held a county stakeholders consultation meeting on Rua prioritized sub-catchment areas from Wajir. Funded by the World Bank, the program's objective and main aim is to increase the sustainable access and management of groundwater in the Horn of Africa borderlands.
We are here to consult with the stakeholders of the Wajir County, and the aim for today's workshop is to talk on the rural areas that will be implementing the aspects of this project that are concerned with conserving and protection of the groundwater, which is the main water resource that we find in the arid and semi-arid areas.
Hapo kitambo kama ungetaka kuchimba kisima katika kaunti yetu, ulikuwa unaenda fiti chache sana unapata maji. Siku hizi inabidi uende fiti mingi sana na tunaona hatari. Kwa hivyo serikali pamoja na Benki la Dunia wameweka rasilimali kando ambao itahamasisha wananchi.
Program will basically have to improve the harvesting of water, especially ground water, because the boreholes that we have sometimes do not bear water because of lack of information or lack of aquifer information basically.
That has been all we had for you today on Agri News, but I will leave you with our weekly segment, Sauti ya Mkulima, where our team on the ground went to Wangige Market to find out what the youth are farming. You too can share your thoughts across our social media platforms.
Mimi naitwa Lawrence Mwangi na nimetoka Denderu. Mimi ni mkulima wa sungura. Tunafunga rabbit. Saizi siko na wengi, nimefikisha 25 rabbits na ziko na watoto. Although mpaka watoto ni 25.
Niko na ng'ombe 3. Nilikuwa na ng'ombe 4, nikauza mmoja. Akanitoa huko nikaenda nikanunua boda. Nikakuja sasa mimi nafanya kazi ya boda na bado ninashughulikia zenye ziko huko kijijini.
Nafanya ufugaji wa kuku. Nafuga kuku wa kienyeji na nimeona faida kwa ufugaji wa kuku kwa sababu vitu kama mayai huwa sinunui na kula zile ambazo mimi mwenyewe nimefuga kutoka kwa kuku wangu.
Imenisaidia kwa sababu wakati nimeenda chini kwa biashara yangu, zile nguruwe zinakuja zina boost kazi yangu na ninakuja na weka hiyo pesa hapa. Vijana especially wa huku Kabete, ningewahimiza sana waendeleze biashara zingine kama kulisha hata ng'ombe, hata hizo nguruwe, hata kuku, kwa maana utakosa kitu kwa mfuko.
Of course, those are some of the headlines making good big stories for us here on Agri News. And the big story this week has been, where is fertilizer? Where are the seeds? Wewe kwako, are you using fake fertilizer, fake seeds, ama zako ni origi? Tueleze hapo kwa kwenye comment section, where exactly did you buy your fertilizer, your seeds from, and how have you ensured that they are original and not fake? Remember to keep this conversation going with the hashtag KTN Welcome Home, hashtag Farm Kenya Show, and of course you can tag us at KTN Home _, at Marion _ the agri producer, and at Kelvin _ Nyekundi. But first, for now, we are going on a short commercial break. Usiende mbali, tunakam tu sai.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with this particular show where we're talking about agriculture. And today when we started, we told you we're talking about youth in agribusiness. So we have two gentlemen testing soil. They've come up with the technology where they test soil within 15 minutes. Believe that. And because particularly you take your soil and then it takes a couple of days in order for it to be tested. So let's just look at how they do this.
Waseni aje, karibuni sana kwenye Youth in Agriculture. My name is Marion Munyao Ng'ang'a. Leo niko hapa Murang'a County hapa kwa mkulima mdogo for one reason, kusoil test. Wengine wenyu mmekuwa mkicomplain sana ati mimea zenyu zinachomeka sana. Kwa nini? Imagine inaweza kuwa ni mchanga yako iko too acidic ama acidity level iko chini sana. Sasa wakulima wawili watatuelezea mbona and how to go about it in 5 minutes. Mmoja wao anaitwa Derek Ngige na mwingine anaitwa Jeff Ayako. Ni mabogi, ni mabeshti, ni maboys. Wali come up na equipment yenye ina test soil for 5 minutes na inaweza kupatia results hapo hapo. Tunaleta lab kwa farm. Ama ni aje? Only in Youth in Agriculture. Karibu kwenye show. Derek Ngige.
Mambo?
Poa sana, ukoaje?
Mimi niko fiti. Kulima tu manze.
Lazima, vile inafaa.
Vile inafaa, inabidi. Sasa tutakula?
Hakuna.
Basi.
Tutakula story.
Siku hivyo.
Karibu sana kwenye show yetu ya Youth in Agriculture.
I'm glad to be here.
Sasa umevaa overall jamani, tuko kwa shamba, kuna jua rada.
Let me tell you, it's very difficult to be a youth and you be in agriculture. Unatoka kuvaa suti, unakuja unavaa kabuti, gambu hata ujui pale ziko, but people have to eat.
What do you mean? You're a farmer. What are you doing right now?
So right now, I'm mainly focusing in agriculture technology. Unajua, you know, there have been a lot of the challenge of the world is going in a digital, yeah?
Yeah.
And if we leave agriculture behind, then we'll continue working with the olden ways, and we have a very big challenge in the way we produce our foods. So we focus mainly on how can we bring technology to the farm. Ndio hizo zingine uko lab, hizo zingine uko kwa shamba na tuna manage.
Unasema technology, nasikia tu kakiendanga. Hii ni technology gani?
Okay, so we've developed a technology called Shamba Assistant.
Yeah.
And Shamba Assistant mainly focuses on soil testing. Now acha nikuambie.
Niambie.
Kitambo, people used to be like this. Unakuja unachukua sample hapa. Unaenda unapeleka in a lab. Kama uwezi goja miezi 2 usipeleke. Unaona?
Hizi lab ziko wapi?
Hiyo hata ndio shida. Kama hapa tuko, kuna moja karibu about I think 2 kilometers down the road. But if you go further, it is the only 3 in this region. So you find that they are not a place, and you know, a common farmer, imagine, umeamka uanze upeleke nini, it became very difficult. So people never used to do their soil testing. So and abu nikupatia analogy, tumeenda kwa hosi. Afu unaumwa na kichwa. Shika hii dawa, shika. Nipatie. Mwingine naye akuje. Anaumwa na kichwa. You know, you both of you be having very different problems. Lakini kila mtu akipatiwa dawa the same, ndio anaumwa na kichwa, unaona kutakuwa na ngori. So it's very important, mtu anakuja vile tu unaenda kwa hosi, niko na hii na hii, okay sawa, unaenda lab pale, unapimwa au unaambiwa shida yako ni dawa yako ni hii. Unaona? The same case. So even our soil inachokanga because imepandwa. Sasa hapa tumepanda there are mango trees, banana, umekuja umeweka maize na zina consuming different things. Ukiona plant ikibehave hivi, unasema hii shida yake najua, unakuja, you know, it becomes very generic. At the end of the day unapata you spending so much and not improving your production.
Sasa soil test ni nini?
Soil test. Soil test ni kupima mchanga yako. Very basic language. Kupima your soil so that you can understand the nutrients it has. Okay? Because abo imagine we are humans because of what we eat. Na kwa hivyo ndio unaambiangu kama unataka kuwa na vitamin E, kula kitu fulani, si ndio? Hizi vitu zote zinakuwa zimetoka wapi? From what we eat. Na kama from what we eat inakuwa imetoka kwa mchanga. So the source of the nutrients we have inakuwa imetoka kwa nini? Kwa the soil. So that's why a plant when it is growing ina growing because it's absorbing those nutrients, inakuwa nazo, tuna harvest, tunapeleka kwa nini. So soil test ni kupima mchanga yako, ujue iko na nutrients gani and in which levels and how you can improve those levels.
Hiyo tulisomea wapi wewe?
Unajua? The advantage of our generation. Hey, kuna kitu inaitwa internet.
Itabidi tutishe producer Kate.
Kuna kitu inaitwa internet. So I came from a farming community. Gendi kazi yetu ilikuwa ni kulima and I hated farming. Yes, imagine like 6 years ago, mimi nilikuwa na one mission nikiingia university.
Which one?
Ni siwai onana na shamba. Shamba iende hivi na mimi niende hivi. Tuende tukae the city in the sun. Yes. Lakini sasa learning about technology. Technology became my dear. So I really loved when I did mechanical and software engineering. So but in all this I realized like wait a minute. Kuna the way technology inaweza saidia maparo pale home. So sinipige combination nione ni aje. Started working out. Na ninaenda pale ninaona okay, soil ina misi na tukiweka hii itakujaje, inakuja poa. Hii soil ina misi na tukiweka inakuja poa. But I realized, you guys, kwa nini ampimangi mchanga? Like hii ni kitu mnastahili kuwa mnafanya kila time.
Bro, ni kazi. Kuna mchanga.
Kumbe wako na shida hata wajui pahali inapelekwa. Sasa tukwambia haina shida, ninarudi shule, nifinye research yangu, nikikuja. Ninapimia mchanga tu kwa farm. mnapata result na mnajua ni shida.
Sasa wakati ulijipata kwa hiyo mechanical engineering class, honestly speaking, are you thinking agriculture?
Hapana, nilikuwa nafikiria gari. Unajua napenda, I love vehicles. I love the automotive industry. So that is what I was thinking. But nikafanya kitu inaitwa robotics here and there. I was like, hizi vitu, hizi mawaya si mbaya, but they would make sense if, you know, you relate to what you are closer to. I was like, if I can do this thing and apply hapa. In fact, hata sihitaji place. Kwetu hakuna garage na magari mingi, but kuna shamba, so sinijaribu hapa kwa hii shamba nione itakujaje. That's how we created the connection.
Then, speaking on that, I love the way umesema I created the connection.
Yes, lazima.
What have you innovated in terms of agri-technology?
So, the key thing is the ability to test your soil in under 5 minutes. Tumetoka sasa miezi miwili. The government reforms came in, that was stepped down to at least 21 days. Technology came in, it was stepped down to 7 days. Tukaona hapana. In fact, we can remove the lab from the lab, tulete kwa shamba.
I like that.
Yes, so that you msikuwe na excuse. And then what does it do? Kuna kitu inaitwa affordability. No, it was very expensive to do soil testing. Then if you know, ukileta kwa shamba, inamaanisha like leo tuko kwa hii shamba. Tunaweza kusanya neighbor kadhaa na tukuje na wafanyiwe nini haraka haraka. And if it is only 15 minutes, I mean it's only under 5 minutes, you can serve more people. Therefore, the cost comes down.
Innovation ni yako ama ili come up to being agri?
So, I am a person who thrives in a community. Mi nikuwa peke yangu, I'm destructive.
In short, wewe ni mtu wa watu, mtu wa bogi, chairman.
Hapana. Hapa umekosea.
Sasa aje?
Like, you know, mtu wa watu ni we create connection. Unajua Mbogi unaweza kuwa Mbogi. Mbogi wanafanya vitu zingine, lakini nimesema team.
Ni Mbogi agriculture.
Haina ngori basi. So mimi ni msawa Mbogi and I like creating with, you know, working with my fellow youth and wasimko aligned. So tukapatana na kijana fulani anaitwa Jeff. Jeff, me, of course, no, you can't be a jack of all trades. So mimi nimeupigiwa, nimeumaniwa hapa hivi, nikaambia kijana, so kuja tuone vile unaweza nisaidia na hii kamambo. Kofiti na kudevelop applications na nini na nini. So tukapatana and that's it.
Mlipatana wapi, ulimpataje?
Shule. We met in school. We have been doing different projects together. So if you remember the innovation with KU, the first African ventilator, tulikuwa kwa hiyo team. In fact, that is the first time we met. And from there, we've pretty been doing much, everything along together, especially in the lines of technology in different fields. So, because the thing is, you know, ukiangalia, personally, I'm not in agriculture, but I've had to work a lot with agronomists. I've had a lot to work a lot with people in agriculture so that I can create meaning and, you know, to that. So I really attribute the innovation. It's not about alone. I remember when we were starting out, we were piloting in a farm in Kangema. It was very instrumental. We have a lady called Helen there who was very instrumental in guiding us in, you know, I think we can follow this path. Yeah.
Sasa vile mlipatana mkaambiana, hey, farmers kuna vile wanateseka. Kuna ngori moja fulani inaitwa kuchomeka, mazao kuchomeka. Hiyo kwa mkulima ambaye haelewi ina maana gani?
Haya. Again, tuanze place tunajua.
Yeah.
Chumvi. So tumepika kanyama ketu vizuri, kafry, halafu mtu mmoja anaamua tu aeke chumvi excess. Nyama ni tamu.
Haitakulika.
Na ujue kwanza hata uwekangi kitambo. Unaona hapa unamalizia ushaonje, unasikia acha tu niongeze kachumvi. Unaweka excess. Chakula tutakula. But what happens? Utasikia nina struggle. Kuna vile utakuwa ukistruggle. So there is something called the soil pH. The soil pH, I'll directly equate it to the salt. So mchanga kwa the salt kwa mingi, you are eating, yes, but you feeling some kind of resistance. Kuna vile unasikia uko na kashida kidogo, unacheki. Kuna vile unasikia uko na ka problem. So the same when the pH is towards the lower side. So kuna a lot of salts in it. The plant struggles to absorb the nutrients. Again, ukikosa kuweka chumvi, tena chakula inateremka but ina kuboo fulani. You're eating but there's something, unaona, the same way. So if the pH is very high, that means that hiyo ukali yake iko chini sana. Then plant pia ina struggle. So there's that specific range. That happens to things like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, you know, calcium, magnesium. They have a range where zinastahili kuwa na mmea itafurahia.
Derek, naomba tu hiyo story ukanyagie breaks hapo manze, hapo. Manze, leo tunachapa story ya soil test na tuko hapa Murang'a County, of course, kwa shamba ya mkulima mdogo, na Derek ametuelezea why you need to do soil test on your plants ndio isichomeke. Jua inanitandika lakini ni juu hii farm imesotiwa good inputs, good agri technology, na vile nilikuwa nimekupromise niko hapa na Jeff atatuonyesha vile ambavyo nafanya hii soil test. Mnacheki hii mazao ya hii mahindi ni juu ya kusoil test. Hapo tusikie story, si ndio? Karibuni kwenye show. Jeff, ni aje boys?
Fiti sana mzee. Iko fiti.
Sasa hii nini umeshika?
Sasa hii ndio unasikia inaitwa Shamba Assistant. It's a soil testing kit that gives you result in a matter of seconds. It's not like the traditional one where you have to wait for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get the lab soil test results. Hapa tunafanya, you get your results and you make your decisions there and then.
Take us through the gadget.
Yeah, sasa the gadget basically has a soil sensor. This is it's a 5-pin sensor, as in a 5-pin input.
In short, iko na pins start to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Iko na pins 5.
Sorry.
Hizo pins 5, each and every one iko na specific functionality yake. Lakini hii sensor inakupea all the 7 readings. Yeah. Na from hizo 7 readings, kulingana na vile mwenzangu alioeleza, kuna vile vitu ambazo tunaita macronutrients na micronutrients. Macronutrients ni zile nutrients ama ile madini ambayo inatakikana na mimea in large amounts. Kama nitrogen is one of the instances because it's the one that gives us the green color kama ya hii majani unaona hapa.
Umesema 7 things.
Yeah, 7
divide into macro and micro.
Exactly.
Break for us, what are these 7 things? Break down for us.
Now the 7 things, we have the NPK values. Hiyo ni nitrogen, phosphorus na potassium. Then tunaenda pH, then tunaenda kitu ingine inaitwa soil temperature. Kuna kitu tunaita pia soil humidity ama moisture content, and then ya mwisho ni soil conductivity. Sasa hizo zote tunaziget through this device, which was our second version in terms of the innovation and the iterative process of coming up with it.
Amazing. What happened to the first?
The first one was quite big. Imagine it could actually fit in an entire briefcase hii yenye unavuruta hivi. Lakini sasa unajua tunaenda tukipata ujuzi zaidi, making it simpler, better. Unakumbuka hata simu yako before hata ifike hapa tulikuanga na sasa hata saizi there is now the latest, the 3rd version, which works with the sensor and the mobile phone. We'll actually even look at the mobile application version of it.
Agri technology at its best.
At its best. Hatubahatishi.
You're in agriculture only.
Exactly.
Now, at what point do you do the soil tests?
Now, before even you plant, basically, hata hii mchanga ukiangalia hapa, hata tukienda tukipatana na wakulima wetu, unaona, the first thing hata tunawaambianga, wewe kama mkulima, hii mchanga vile uko nayo hivi nikuulize ni nini iko nayo na ni nini haina. Huwezi niambia by just looking at. Huwezi?
But it has good smell.
But sasa good smell is not one of the easy. Sasa unajua they don't smell actually. Clearly. Like they don't have that sense of smell. But they require now those nutrients. So now for farmers, because most of the time they have been doing a lot of guesswork. Now we take out the guesswork out of, because now you are able to determine, sasa umejua, unaweza jua sasa ni nini hii mchanga yako iko nayo haina. Mkulima kama huyu wa mahindi, before apande, you need to first of all know ni kiwango gani ya nitrogen iko nayo, potassium, calcium, hizo zote, unaona. Sasa kama kitu kama mahindi inahitaji an NPK value of 122 and 68 and 58% as in amount of phosphorus. Unaona? So hizo vitu zote ndo iweze kufanya vizuri. Lakini hizo mimea zingine kiwango ambayo inahitaji itafauti, unaona? So kwa hivyo ukitaka kupanda kama mahindi ndio iweze kufanya, lazima upe that right amount of it, unaona? So kwa hivyo sasa ndio tunawaambia wakulima wetu hata before ufanye upande lazima at least uangalie, tujue, tupime. Tukishapima pia kuna ile time fulani tunaita top dressing. Hizi mahindi zikisha chomoza miezi kadhaa, unahitaji kuapply your top dressing fertilizer, na pia hapo ndio lazima pia uangalie ndio ufanye hivyo. Ndio ukiweka ndio unapata mahindi yako imefurahia, iko very greenish na nini, it's happy. Yeah. Exactly.
Juu ya hiyo story, how often do you do the soil test?
Now for like something like maize, we do it twice. There's during the planting season, and then when you are doing the planting itself, and then during the time when you are also doing the top dressing.
Yeah.
So that is twice. And then but the other plants, let's say kama coffee, that normally within an year you do it thrice. Yeah, so yeah.
Information mnafanya nini ili iweze kufikia wakulima wengine? Juu kuna mwingine niliuliza the same question. Aliniambia anahitaji ile litmus. Unakumbuka ile ya chemistry? Ile ya form 2, streaky tan, blue ni acidic. Isipotan ni basic. So what do you do to ensure that farmers, at least my youth, wakulima wanajua hii story?
Sasa ile unajua hiyo ile ukifanya na hiyo litmus paper, kile kitu ambacho ile kitu unaweza pima ni either acidic or basic. That's just one component. Unaona? Sasa kuna hizo vitu zingine kama now the nutrients themselves. Hiyo iwezi kupea uwezi jua ni like iko na kiwango gani, unaona? Na pia ukiangalia normally kitu kama for example as much as ina change either red or blue, ikiwa in that as much as unaona kama ndio iko sawa, pia unapata unajua the acid range from 1 to 6.8 before tufike kwa neutral point. Unajua hiyo ni range, unaona? Sasa ndio inaweza kuwa imetanika kwa red, lakini iko so much acidic. Exactly. Ama hata pia hata kama iko 6.6 bado ndio niko kwa acidic, but sasa ndio hata hapo ukuangi sure iko
wapi
exactly. Unaona? So you need to know where is it exactly. And the only way to know where exactly is by something that is actually giving you the actual figures. Yeah, because even me, because I come from an engineering background, in engineering we speak in terms of numbers, figures.
Yes.
Si stories ajaba. Yeah.
Mkulima akiona soil yake iko too acidic, anafanya nini?
Sasa if it is too acidic now, you normally for plants they tend to do well towards a medium, like towards a 7 point. If it's too acidic, you apply a fertilizer that will take it to a neutral, will tend to neutralize the acidity. And sasa hata tukisha gundua hivyo na wakulima wetu, normally we walk through them, like akisha apply ndio tunakuanga na yeye hapo tukiverify like hiyo mchanga inaendelea kuendelekea kwa ile point yenye tunaitaka ikue. Unaona? So the testing, like tunakuanga tu hapo consistently to ensure that whatever your soil is at where it needs to be.
Amazing,
Exactly. Yeah.
amazing. Na wale ambao wanapata soil yao iko less acidic than the optimum level, wanafaa kufanya nini?
Less acidic as in it is
Below the recommended, which is which by the way?
now inaendanga huwa ina vary. Yeah. So kama nini ukiona kama it should be mostly towards the neutral point. Towards the neutral point. Sasa unaona kama for example kama ni acidic isiende chini ya 6 point. Unaona kama 6.5. Kama ni basic isiende sana kama 7.8 kielekea huko chini. Lakini sasa ile kitu ambayo tunasemanga kwa mkulima, unajua kama mmea ukiangalia kama uzuri pia siku hizi tuko na Google. Pale kwa Google before hata upande normally hata ukigoogle pale you are able to get the acidity. Unaona for let's say kama that kitu kama vitunguu ama nini. So you usually have those ones there. And then now is just ni kucheza tu na udongo wako ufike kwa kile kiwango.
Sasa kama iko basic sana, mtu anafaa kufanya?
Sasa kama if it is too basic sana inamaanisha imeenda ina kuenda past 9, 10 ikienda huko juu. Sasa unafaa uirudishe huku. So as in to neutralize the alkalinity. So now you apply elements or some of the fertilizers that will tend to neutralize the alkalinity. Exactly.
Nataka tufanye hii soil test
practically tuone.
Lime usaidia na nini?
Lime. Sasa lime unajua lime now is more of towards the alkaline side. Unaona? So now the lime itself it will tend to, if let's say your soil is so acidic, you apply that lime so that it can neutralize the acidity so that it can now bring it towards the neutral point of view.
All right. Now let's get right into the soil testing.
Aya, sasa tunaweza enda tufanye soil testing hapo. Tuone result za hii shamba zikoaje. Haya. Sawa. Mkulima mdogo, unaweza kuja tuonyeshe vile tulikuwa tunafanya hii maneno. Sasa huyu ndugu yangu atachanganya hii udongo pale. Sasa ile kitu ya kwanza yenye tunafanya ni sampling. Unaona ukiwa na shamba lako kubwa, we collect soil samples from different locations. Tuna get one whole sample and then hiyo sasa ndio tunakuja tunaichanganya hapa pamoja and then sasa tunaingisha hapo ndani, tuna mix and then sasa after mixing itself hapo ndio tuna dip the soil sensor and then we get the readings. Sasa ndugu yetu sasa atatuchanganyia hapa. Marion, ukiangalia hapa vile tumetake hizo reading, mambo yanakaa yako sawa. Mkulima wetu, unajua tulikuanga hapa before, tulikuwa tumeangalia hii soil sample yake, na vile tunaangalia ni kwamba after ile mambo yote alifanya kwa hii shamba yake iko sawa. All the readings, the requirements, juu hizi ni maize, tulimrekomendia in terms of what to apply, na pia ndio maana tunaona mambo yako so that mkulima
mimi yangu ni kufurahi. Umeona mimi ni mwanafunzi mzuri. Chenye uliniambia niweke ndio niliweka. And that's why hata soil test imetuonyesha we did the right thing. And as a farmer I can recommend soil testing anytime. Because as you can see my maize iko ya hali ya juu. I'm anticipating a very good harvest. Reason being even the vigor venye imetokea, I realized I was wasting so much fertilizers and it was available in my soil. Ile singejua kama hamungenipimia mniambie usinunue hii iko ready. So mkanipatia zile njia zenye nitatumia mpaka
mchanga wangu, hizo nutrients zikakuwa available kwa mimea. Hii mahindi imetoka ikiwa na viga vizuri, as you can see imenona vizuri. So and the foundation ndio inaonyeshanga mkulima, hey, this is a hit or a miss.
Yeah.
But for this one, hata kama hatujapata, wanasemanga don't count your chicks before they are hatched. Hey, hizi ninaanza kutengeneza store. Mahindi inakuja, ndio hii iko njiani.
Na mimi nitakujia nyingi zaidi. High five.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us on the show today. Yeah, that has been Youth in Agriculture, and a big thank you to everyone who has been behind this successful production. And see you next time. Bye. When we're talking about opportunities for youth in agribusiness, this is what exactly we mean. Derek and his friend Jeff have indeed done a lot of work when it comes to technology, agriculture technology, coming up with the device that has brought a lot of solutions to the Kenyan farms. In 15 minutes, utajua kama mchanga wako, is it too acidic, too basic? I mean, we really do not want kuchomeka mkono. Amaje Kevo?
Of course, we don't want kuchomeka mkono. And this is a really, really interesting way of doing it. And you don't have to go to a certain office and make sure that at least you leave it there for a week. I mean, 15 minutes is just small minutes, and then you get your results and you know if your soil is, pH is okay for planting.
Mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi, kuwa na sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya.
All right, welcome back. And you are watching the Farm Kenya show. You asked for her. She is here. She is the Apple Ambassador, none other than Kate Wambugu, who is the CEO Apple Wambugu Apples. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Wow, thank you so much, Kevin.
And to see you again.
Happy to see you again.
Yes, and let's talk about a little bit of apples.
Yes.
First of all, what even prompted you to start going and venturing into apple farming? Because when you look at Kenya and the farmers that we have, many usually want to look at crops, maize, or people want to look at tea, but you ventured into the apple farming. Just give us a little bit of history and then we continue.
I grew up in apple farming. My daddy used to do this. He's the founder of Wambugu Apples. And Kevin, I could see my daddy smile when he's coming from the market. And the amazing thing is that when we were growing up, we used to have coffee and tea, but we couldn't take some tea when you're harvesting. But for apples, we could harvest and eat at the same time. And on top of that, we could see my daddy and my mom making money. And this is what motivated us, given that this was also very much when we were very young and we could see it. And when I'm now big like this, I'm for apple farming. Yes.
All right, so it has a sentimental value to you.
Yes.
All right, now let's also look at penetration of apple farming in Kenya. First of all, the way farmers view, when you look at apple farming, is it an area that is really has been tapped into, or does it need to have a little bit of growth?
Apple is a very gold fruit, I would say that, because even on the alphabetical, we start with A for apple. So I guess this is one of the biggest thing that came up in my mind. And now being the ambassador of Wambugu Apples, I thought whatever Dad used to do now, taking it to the other farmers, because some people couldn't, even us, we couldn't believe that apple can do in Kenya.
Yes.
And where we are standing right now, most of Kenyans have embraced Wambugu apples since it's doing well, or given it's doing well in most of the climates in Kenya, and most of the soil is accepting Wambugu apples. So this was also motivated or made many farmers, because they have different climate in Kenya, and made them to do it. Though some of them couldn't believe it, so they started slowly, until most of them said, wow, this is doing well in our area. So most of Kenyans are doing it, and part of Kenya, almost 32 counties, they have Wambugu apples, which is doing well and producing very well. Yes.
Right. And when you look at the counties that are
Yes.
spread all over, I believe, all over the country,
Yes.
The climatic conditions
Yep.
from different areas.
Yes.
When you look at the Nyanza region, when you look at the Rift Valley region, all these areas have different kinds of climatic conditions.
Yes.
So what goes into a farmer who wants to maybe venture into apple farming,
Okay.
and they are on the eastern side, or they are on the Asal regions, and from the ones who are in the tropic areas?
We've tried it in the low and the highlands, and we have seen it do well. And given that the most important thing that we have tried is the manure and watering. When you have those two things, you are able to manage Wambugu apples. On the other side is not labor intensive. So once you plant, and then you do the manure and then the watering, because the two things to consider is water and manure. When you have this, doesn't matter whatever climate you are, whether in the high or in the lowlands, you just have to ensure that you're using the animal manure, which, because we don't use fertilizers, we are using only manure, because is available in most of the counties, because like each and every farm or household, Kelvin, has cows. Even I believe even in your farm you have cows that daddy and mom used to have. So the same waste that we are using for the apples, and you do it gradually, like every year you put every year you do like 3 or 4 times. So that is the main thing, and most of the parts, as I said, they have that, so it's available. So the major thing is also water. So others are doing the borehole, like as in like Laikipia, we're doing borehole. Others are doing the liver. They have liver close the farm, so you can also use that water. So those are the main things to consider before you do the apple farming.
Right. Now that you've mentioned manure,
yes,
let us look at land preparation when it comes to apple farming.
Yes.
What goes into preparation? How can a farmer make sure that at the end of the season,
yes,
they have harvested a good yield? What goes into the preparation?
Yeah, the first thing to consider, as I said, is manure. So there's that preparation, because it's not just preparation. You need to have the cows.
Yes.
Then maybe you can buy the manure, or maybe you have a chicken, you have cows, you have all these, you have goats. So that's the most important. You bring up to the manure together. And there's something, Kelvin, we don't normally do. You don't just pick the manure from the cow house and then take it to the farm. There's that aspect of decomposition. So they have to be well decomposed before you take it to the farm. So you make your own holes. Most of Kenyans, they know how to do it. And those who don't do, we work with them. So you make a hole, and then maybe like 2 feet deep and 2 feet wide. So then you put 1 bucket, because remember, it's a baby. We are starting to plant.
Yes.
So you just use like 1 bucket, and then you mix with the topsoil. Then you put water, then plant Wambugu apples. Within 9 months, you get the Wambugu apples start fruiting. So, but before then, remember, these are 9 months. So you definitely know that the manure is already almost done.
Yes, yes.
So at the 5th month, for the preparation of the harvest, you need to now to put manure again. And then what you do, you just remove the soil closer to the where you planted.
Yes.
And then you put the well decomposed manure. Then you mix well with your fingers. These things you have to do them by yourself. So
by your hands.
by your hands.
Yes.
You have to be hands on. So you just put it around, and then you cover it up and you water. So by the time 9th month come, your fruit will be very healthy, they will be so juicy, and also they'll have some weight, because like 4 or 5 or 6 pieces that would make a kilo. So that's the only preparations that you do after the 9 months, where now they start fruiting.
And when you look at the weather,
yes,
does the weather really affect? Because you find, like the way we've in our country,
yes,
you find 1 week it's just sunny and dry, and then maybe the coming week it's rain that goes maybe 2 days constantly.
Yes.
Does the weather affect this particular period from the planting period up to the harvest, the 9 months?
Okay, technically what happens is that, that's why I said you need to have maybe a plan B, let me call it a plan B, because most of the part of Kenya, they receive rains in different times.
Yes.
But remember, Wambugu apples, I would say it will give you fruits throughout the year. Soon as you harvest, there are flowers coming out. And this is where your question is coming. Does the seasons or the rainy season or the sunny time affect? I would say they would do, but if you have water, that one will be able to fix very well, because when it is not raining, you can be able to do the watering. You can decide to do furrow irrigation, you can decide to do the button drip, or you can do other irrigations that you are doing, depending whether you are doing some intercrop. So the one that's sunny, you are able to fix with the water. And remember, rainy seasons, of course, the rain has a lot of nitrogen. Also, I would add on that you can cover, or you can be able to fix the nitrogen from other things that you are doing the intercrop, so that you are able, even if you're using the water or the borehole, you're able to fix the nitrogen that comes with the rains. So you can do some beans. They're very good for nitrogen fixation. So by the end of the year, you're able to have covered both the rainy and also the sunny time.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well explained.
Yes.
Now, let's also move to the harvest.
Yeah.
Just explain to us how it's done, because many a times farmers don't usually get it right when you've gotten a very good yield at the end of the season, you have harvested it, and now what goes into harvesting when it comes to harvesting apples?
The good thing is, in Kenya, we harvest in different times.
Yes.
And Kevin, this is the beauty of the harvest. Because if me in Laikipia I'm harvesting, you in Eldoret or you in Siaya, you're not harvesting. That means when I'm selling, you're not selling. So you are not competing with me.
Yes.
So I'm able now to enjoy the market all alone. And that's how it happens. So when we are harvesting, you're not harvesting. And when you're harvesting, we are not harvesting. So that's the beauty thing. And you ensure that you harvest immediately before it gets to 100% ripening, the reddish thing of the apple. So you just time that it is now 80% of the reddish in the apple, then that is the best time to harvest. Because when you harvest that time, it's crunchy and juicy. Because right now we are concentrating on the whole fruit, selling locally. So that's why we ensure that it's not totally 100% ripe. So the harvesting happen, and as soon as you finish happening, you see some other sizes coming up, and that's the beauty with the Wambugu apples. So you harvest, you wait like 2 or 3 months, you harvest again. So in a year you can harvest like 3 times, which I cannot even tell you, Kevin, to harvest. The thing will just call you, please harvest me. It's just beautiful in the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still on harvesting.
Yes.
And since today on the show we are speaking about youth, opportunities for the youth, especially in agribusiness. Now, let's stop at, you've explained about harvesting. Let's look at even going into the market. If a youth wants to get into apple farming, and they're saying, okay, there's no opportunity for me in the market. I don't have the connections that maybe a person like Wambugu Apples has, because it's been there for a very long time. So how do you encourage a youth who would want to get into this, and they don't have a way of getting even into the market? And then now we'll continue now from the harvest going forward.
You know, from the let me talk about the youths who are very energetic and who has more knowledge, skilled, the technology also. And Wambugu Apples, what happens, we started a journey that we didn't know where we are going also. But here we are, we gotten the market out there. We have both local and international. And if you is a youth, maybe like you are still a youth, I can count your years like I can count my fruits. So
don't
like
count it right now.
So
Yes.
it's like you now, you have a farm or you don't have a farm. Maybe you have your mom's farm where you can also be able to go there and plant Wambugu apples. Not necessarily that you must own the farm, because I would tell you that a journey to own is also a journey to walk, where you can start where you are, whatever you have. Your mom, I definitely know this, most of our parents will allow you. So you can plant there, then you plant. The time of harvest, we connect you to the market. We are not only selling our own, what we are harvesting in our farm.
Yes.
And that's why we came up with the farmers in Kenya, and we formed a group called Kenya Apple Growers and Exporters Association. This involves all farmers, whether you are youth, whether you are a woman or a man. That is why we are. But the youths are more, I would say they are more energetic. They have a lot in their mind. So they will not struggle as such, because already we have walked that journey. We have taken that journey. So you will not struggle the struggles that we went through. So the person will only connect you. And where we are now, we got a machine to do the washing, the packing, and the grading.
Wow.
So you only have to harvest, bring to our pack house, and then we grade, and then we connect you to the market. And we are not brokers. We don't take anything from your produce.
Yes.
We connect you. This, as we sell, you're also selling. So you are not struggling at all. And money comes back to you. And this is where youths, most of them, they will enjoy.
Yes.
And also they can even enjoy going there to the market, like the Europe where we have the market, and also try to have more connections. So it's an open market even for the youth.
Okay.
Yes.
Even as we are now trying to wrap up this
Yes.
conversation,
Yes.
let's look at a very, very critical thing when it comes to produce
Yes.
and food safety
Yep.
and food security. Now, someone has harvested,
Yep.
they have stored this particular product, and now they're taking it to the market.
Yep.
You find that when it reaches the market, the quality that is there is not the exact quality that was harvested, because maybe storage was not done well. So just give us your perspective when it comes to, or your insights when it comes to how apples are supposed to be stored. And for someone who doesn't have the lorries that are
Yes.
refrigerated, how should they transport this particular produce to the market?
That's a point that we had to consider before doing all this, because we started by doing some cold rooms here in Nairobi, where you get your produce with our lorries, or our cold room, or the temperatures are very low, so that when you harvest, we just pack them and then we bring them, if you're not able to do that. And by the time we show you, we also walk with you, we show you how to harvest, because you just pluck the fruit and take it to the market. There's like a stock that you're supposed to harvest with. When you harvest with that, our apple, which is Wambugu apples, it has a longer shelf life. So even if you harvest today, Kelvin, you can bring it 2 days to our pack house, if you're not able to. But those people who are doing large, we are also able to send our lollies and pick up the fruits. So we have done that, and we have sorted that kind of issue. Bring to our pack house, even if it takes a whole week for us to make sure that the large number or the package that we're supposed to export or put it in our local supermarket is there. So that one we have solved completely. They are working, and you don't even worry. And also we show you how to harvest.
All right.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of also the way they are packaged and they are transported,
Yeah.
let's also talk about the export market and the opportunities that Kenya has towards the outside country. Because years ago we were importing apples,
Yep.
but now we have our own apples.
Yep.
How do we make sure that we get into the requirements that the international market needs?
Kevin, we have some documents that were needed, of certifications that we need. We have the Global Gap, we have the KFIS permit. These are some of things we cannot do without. So we have done all the paperwork, all requirements that they are asked for the international market, and all of them we have been able to cover them, and you don't have to worry again, because that is where we started. So once you produce, your work is just to produce the apples, then you bring to our pack house, then you pack, and then we are able to export. We have done all the paperwork that is needed, so you don't have to worry, and that is the best thing. That's
So
why
a
I'm the
farmer,
ambassador.
a farmer needs to just get with Wambugu apples, right?
Yes, yes.
And get get all this paperwork done and everything, even getting to the market.
Yes.
All right. Your last words to the youth, because today we are speaking about youth and agribusiness. Your last words into just to encourage the youths, someone who has lost hope and said, okay, I tried apple farming, it's not even working. So they are saying, okay, I just have to leave this and do something else.
I would say to the youth that I have made being the ambassador, Wambugu Apples sexy. You remember that phrase?
Yes, I remember.
We have made it sexy, such that it's not labor intensive. We are able to work with you. We don't abandon you. So, and after the produce, we are able to take your produce and then to the market. And most of the youth, this is where we are. The energy you have as a youth, but the market we have. And also the beauty things, there is money. A kilo is 300 Kenya shilling, or about how many dollars, or 0 points, I don't know what, come up to 300 per kilo. And good thing is that we are going into the value addition. This is where we need more apples. This is where we need more produce now, because the market now, not only the whole fruit, but also we are going to do some clips. I don't know, I produce well, but you are youth, you know it. But that thing, you look like a chips clips.
Yes.
So that is what you'll be doing, like apple. So
and we'll like you to bring it also.
I will.
Should have come with it today.
I will. I will make sure that next time I'll come with it. But the value addition, you also do a very good job to them. So there's money in the apple farming. In Kenya right now, we are still importing apples worth 14 or 15.1 million US dollars. So can you imagine all this is lying there, is an open market. So there's vacuum for us. So youths, you have the energy. We can do it.
All right, you've heard it from her. Ambassador of Apple right here in Kenya, Kate Wambugu, who is the CEO Wambugu Apples. And before we get to the end and close this show, I'm going to invite my co-host, Marion. We've been just discussing with her today about youth in agribusiness. Marion, welcome.
Hi, first let me greet Karibu sana
Asante
tena,
Marion,
and next time you come again.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of farmers are really wanting to learn from you.
Wow.
Nyakundi, I think one thing that has really got me in this conversation is the fact that apple farming is less labor intensive. Meaning we can slay.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can slay, but you know, she told me I need to use my hands. So you have to also get in there, and then at the end of the season, you are smiling to the bank.
And this is what we always have for you every Wednesday here on Farm Kenya Show. Remember, we started off on Monday. Monday, meaning that we started with the topic, youth in food security. What is the role of the youth in food security? And on Tuesday, we talked about health and nutrition. And today, we are catalyzing, climaxing the conversation with none other than Kate Wambugu, CEO and founder of Wambugu Apples. Kelvin, how was the week for you?
The week was really, really very impactful. And first of all, I think today has been the highlight of my week, because speaking about youth in agribusiness and how a youth can make even the little that they wouldn't think about, because as Kate has told us, when you go to the market, they connect you with the various buyers. They also make sure that at least if you want to export your apples, they just make sure that the paperwork is okay and everything is up to par with what the international market is looking for in terms of apples. That is, I can say that has been my highlight this week.
Amazing, and so much more will be happening on the coming week, whereby we'll be having amazing topics, amazing guests that you really do not have to miss. Do not miss these conversations. Remember, the hashtag we are using is hashtag Farm Kenya Show, hashtag KTN Welcome Home, and of course, please tag us at KTN Home _ at Marion _ the agri producer, and at
Kelvin Ogega.
Vile inafaa tupatane Monday, usikose hii. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu.